Welcome back to RealVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith. I've got some land by Skagit River in Washington. Let's take a look at this land. This is an actual picture from the property. There's a bunch of trees, so it looks like a thick bush on this one. You probably need to bring a tractor or something to get through here. Let's see. Let's see what we have. I'm asking $29,000 for this one. It's like cheapest land in the area by a country mile. Let's take a look at this. I got pictures. It's just thick. It's thick bush. It's a paved road. The road goes right up to the property. And there's a bunch of trees. There's a stream that goes through the property called Salmon River. Comes under the road. There's a road across the street. This is across the street, the driveway across the street. It's mailboxes across the street. And then the property on the other side is the one that I've got. So the property would be right down in here. And then just a little ways north of it is the river, Skagit River, running all through this area. Let's keep going through some pictures. So different pictures, actual pictures of the properties, a bunch of trees, bunch of grass, some hill. As you get back into this one, it looks like there's some hill. I think that's going to be the make or break of this property. There's some moss hanging off the trees. I'll try to get some topography. So as you're looking back in there, it's a nice set of bush and trees. A lot of brush. So the guy that I got this property from, he used to have a camper on this property. You could drive back into the property and camp on the property, he was telling me. And it's been a long time, and the land's grown in since then. So I'll pull up some maps and I'll try to describe what he's telling me about this property. So here's a topography map. These maps are all on the RealVacantLand.com. There's a link down below, and it'll take you back to RealVacantLand.com and this particular part of the website where you can see the pictures and images and maps and things of the property. So the lot lines, it's kind of like a pie-shaped property. The fatter part of it, where the crust would be, there's a good sized hill there. The next crack in the hill over here, there's someone living in there, and they set up a homestead over here. This crack in the hill has more water flowing through it than the next one. It's a full-time year-round stream coming through here, and it crosses the street and goes straight, and then these guys have rerouted it. Eventually it makes it out to the Skagit River. So as it goes through this property, the guy said at the time, back in the day when he had a bunch of money and he was working on the property, the railroads were closing down in the area, and it was really cheap to get the gravel, like the good sized rock that the railroad beds were made of, and the railroad ties were like next to free. So he got tons of railroad ties and that kind of rock, and he put that kind of rock, I think he said about 20-foot high kind of piles of this stuff on either side of the stream to straighten the stream out so it goes straight and it doesn't meander around the property. And it's like 30-foot wide, so you can drive on it. And so if you went and tried to dig down into this property, you're going to run into that kind of rock on both sides of the stream. And so he told me the exact footage dimensions, but the longer one was on the fatter side of the stream. And so he said that acts like a driveway. You could drive right on top of that, like a levee kind of thing that you put in next to the stream. This was back before all the regulations came in that prevent you from doing this kind of stuff. And he said you could drive in there, and then he had the guy with the bulldozer laying the rocks make a place to turn around in the back. So it was like 185 foot or something like that back off the road. There's a flat turnaround area that you could turn around in. And he's told me that he was an engineer guy. He told me the exact measurements of his motorhome, but he could take his motorhome in there and turn it around. And it was a good sized motorhome. It wasn't just like the camper on the back of a truck. It was like full on, sized motorhome from the 70s or something. And so that is there, but since then the little trees and brush and stuff have grown in. So if we take a look at these pictures, looking across the street over here where the road goes in, I mean, it's just a wall of trees and brush. You can't really tell. So you'd have to really climb back in there to look at that and look at the banks on either side of the stream. But I mean, I don't know about the rules and regulations of it, but you could probably drive that same trail back in there and use that as a campsite and adventure spot, or maybe keep your supplies as you go play in the river. My understanding, the rules and regulations of this property are you're going to need at least 100-foot setbacks off of that stream to have a place to go build a home. So if you wanted to build a residence on this property, I think you're going to, if we go back to the topography, for my measurements from afar, I mean, I'm not in the property looking at it, but 100 foot back off the stream, you're going to run into this hill, and I think the hill's going to kick up a good deal, and you're going to get a hill that's going to take a lot of engineering to figure out if the hill has the structural quality to hold up a house on the side of the hill. So you're going to be in between, somewhere between this hill and that stream. The other side's just a bunch of hill, and there's not as much room to work with. But there seems to be some parts of this hill that aren't as steep as other parts of the hill that maybe you could figure out a place to put a house in there. You could use that pre-made driveway that's already there, take some of the trees out of it, and use that to drive back in and go look at the topography. So I think the person that loves this property is going to look at that driveway that's on the side of the stream and go back in there and see if they think they can get a place on the side of the hill to build, or just forget building on it and use it as a recreational property. So with that in mind, I set the price quite low compared to the area from what I could find in the area. We'll look at all these pictures again. You can go look at these pictures. So there's a whole ton of pictures on the website of the property. Okay, so let's bring up the maps. I got the maps on here, interactive maps, rural vacant land. It's got these maps on here. So you can get to this map, and you can play with this map yourself by going to the link below and clicking on it, and it should bring it up below this video. So the creek runs along the street here, and then eventually finds its way somewhere out to the river. And it seems like people have been channeling this creek and building next to it. There's houses on either side of it. They're building a lot closer to the creek, but I think they're doing it further back in time before the setback rules have come into effect. And so the creek runs right down through here and then keeps going the other side of the stream, or the other side of the street. It's just so green you can't tell. But if we take the Google guy over here, see, this is the other side of the street. And we look at, phone's scaring me. Phones are getting too smart. They're listening in. So there is, there's the woods. So you can see, I mean, if you find the right spot in here, just next to the stream, so the stream, and then there's a whole bunch of gravel. If you go stick a shovel in the ground, you're just going to whack the rocks. But that's what you could drive on next to the stream going back. So it's just thick woods all the way along through here that have grown in since the guy was working on it, like 40 or 50 years ago. Okay, so you're gonna have to go to the property and look at that to tell. But if we go back, let me get back out of here. This map. So if we're on the fat side of the stream, that's where the longer driveway is. On the skinnier side of the stream, there's a shorter driveway. And the guy thought maybe he could split the property in two and make two housing sites out of it, but he never followed through with it. So this would be the more likely spot, but the hill just goes, I mean, there's some serious hill there. So you're going to have to study this hill and the creek and the setbacks, 100-foot setbacks off the stream of where it would take you before you can find some usable land in there, or just use it as a recreational property. Okay, so got a buy it now button. I think it's asking for like a $500 deposit if you want to hold this property while you go we go get it into title. Great, but please go research it, figure it out before you go check out with it. $29,000 what I'm asking. It's 6.25 acres in Skagit County, Washington. There's GPS coordinates on here. If you click that in your computer, it'll give you driving directions of the property. You can go over and take a look at it, which is highly advised. You're probably gonna want like some boots and a machete or something to get back in there. And if you click on those GPS coordinates, your phone will give you driving directions. But you click on it in the computer and you get this map. We can do 3D, try to show you what's going on here. So here's a creek coming down, and then the hill goes up on either side. So the property's over here running down this way. It's a long pie-shaped property, right? See if we can look at it from this way. This would be from the south looking north. So it's got these driveways going on either side of the creek. And then this part doesn't seem as steep as it is over here. This side seems steeper. And then the next crack over here, you can see some people doing something in the hills. I don't know what they're doing or not doing. So hopefully that helps explain the layout of the property. So let's go back to the listing of this. Next up, I wanted to show, well, taxes. Taxes $129 a year. Here is Zillow. So I pulled up Zillow. The property is right here along the highway. One of these streams is the Salmon Creek. It's right in here. And so the cheapest one that's up for sale in the area, or the only one that's up for sale in the area, is asking $190,000. I'm asking 20, what did I say? 28? 29. I'm asking $29,000. There's one not too far from there, 5 acres. Mine's a little bit bigger. His is probably less topography, but it's 5 acres. I don't think these are the same class of properties. You know, for $29,000, there's nothing for sale around anywhere in the area for $29,000. Well, let me take that back. There's 7,000 square foot lot for $15,000. It doesn't show up on the map. This is a little tiny lot. And then the next one is $59,000. So this is going to be the cheapest thing in the area besides this little tiny lot. This is a community with a boat launch and clubhouse. You're going to have like all kinds of HOA rules and everything else. Tiny lot with all kinds of rules and fees. $15,000. It's like half the price. If that's what floats your boat, there's one for sale. Been for sale for a while. No one's touching it. So yeah. So if you want to jump on this one, take a look at it. Please go look at it. Let me know if I can help. Get back in the trees there. I got a photo guy. He went over. He wouldn't get past the tree line to go take good photos of it. But if you go hike back in the property, see what you can find. See if this is the right one for you. I think the first person that does that probably takes off with it and loves it. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Luke Smith on ruralvacantland.com. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this about other properties. Talk to you soon.